My name is Tyler James Williams. I'm an actor and Crohn's disease patient. From 19 until 23, I was flaring on a weekly basis, from like 22 to 23, it was a daily basis, without keeping it in check in any way. And just kind of pushing through it and trying to hide it as best that I could. Although a lot of the people around me kind of knew that something was wrong. We couldn't put a name to it. I'd seen multiple doctors who just couldn't figure out what it was. They thought I was lactose intolerant. They thought it was food allergies. I needed to cut out gluten. I needed to do all these other things, but nobody could actually give it a name. People are living with this every day. And for anybody who knows anybody who has Crohn's disease or colitis, know that it is not a pretty disease at all. It's hard. It is a very difficult beast to tackle. I can only imagine what that was like 20 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago. It didn't just pop up out of nowhere. People have been dealing with this for some time. And for me, if I can do anything to make the next person in my position be able to deal with this more smoothly than I did. Because anybody who saw me in any of the ERs know that was not a pretty experience every time I've had to be there. If we really actually spoke about it, because there's such a stigma about, any gastrointestinal issue. Nobody ever wants to talk about it, but then so many people are dealing with it. I checked in to the hospital, and by the 31st, they were rushing me into surgery. It was just like, there's nothing we can do at this point. So they removed 6 inches of my small intestine at the ileum, whereas it had been walled off to the point where nothing was getting through with scarring. And I thought that was it. I was like, great, we removed it. Everything will be fine, and I'll get back to work. Little did I know, it was just the beginning. They kept me in because I was severely underweight. At this point, I was about 105 pounds. The day before Valentine's Day, everything's fine. I'm about to be discharged the next day. It's gonna be great. I wake up on February 14th and my body is vibrating, is the best way I can describe it. Violently vibrating, shaking uncontrollably, and I don't know what's wrong. The nurse comes in, calls my surgeon. He drives from his house to come sees what's wrong with me, and immediately rushes me into surgery, and I have no idea what that's about, but essentially my intestines had split, where they had removed the 6 inches. It had been so beaten up over time, it didn't even have the energy to really heal itself. Went septic. That's super fun. And they gave me an ostomy for 6 weeks to allow it to heal. And that's when I was forced to sit down. It kept me, again, in the hospital for another month. And it was just sitting there and trying to figure out what this means now and what my life looks like. 3 surgeries in 3 months and drop 40 pounds. And that's the reality of what Crohn's disease can be. I have to give a huge thanks to my family. They stepped up in a situation that was very, very difficult. It can't be easy to watch. It wasn't easy to live, so it definitely cannot be easy to watch.